Chicago Bears rookies are reporting to camp today, and I'm going to give you one thing I want to see from each of the rookies in this class, and it starts right now. Now, if you are rocking with the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. So we've got the rookies reporting today to training camp. And I want to give you one thing that I really want to see from each of these rookies as camp gets going here, because listen, there's certain things that it's going to take time to develop, but there's certain things that I think if they're going to make a name for themselves on this roster full of veterans that are some solid pieces to have heading into the season, very difficult guys to move off of their spot, and for you to have a role on this team, right? Listen, some of the later round pick guys may end up getting cut just because there's not space for you on your later round pick. We'll see how this works out. But the one thing that I want to see, and we're starting it off with Coulson Lovelin here. Listen, there's a lot that has to still be done. But the one thing I really want to see from Coulson, you have to be explosive immediately. And what I mean by that is there's a reason Ben Johnson selected you, right? There's a reason that Ben Johnson wanted to go out and get Coulson Lovelin so he could go out there and make big plays down the field, be that deep threat tight end, essentially being a fourth wide receiver on the field in opportunities when he's out there. I think that that's something that you have to look at and say, listen, the one thing that you can see Coulson doing, I think the hands and stuff like that, you know that he has these certain things. And yes, there's going to be parts that have to develop about that. But if he's explosive immediately, now you're talking about feeling good about taking him over Tyler Warren very early on. Remember, I'm not saying that I feel bad about taking him over Tyler Warren. I like Coulson Lovelin. I like the fact that you do have that explosive play. But, you know, the conversation around Warren is he didn't get an opportunity to do that a ton in college, right? Because the conversation around Loveland was that he didn't get an opportunity to do that a ton in college because they just didn't have an offense that was really looking to throw the football. So you're kind of going not off of flash plays. I don't want to say it like that, but you're going off of not the same sample size as what you got from Tyler Warren. And the expectation is that Coulson Loveland is going to come in here and be a Brock Bowers type of tight end. Brock Bowers probably the best tight end in football last year, so I don't know if I'd say he's going to be Brock Bowers, but that type of tight end, that guy that can go out there and make explosive plays. We know that's what Ben Johnson wants, and I think that that's something that has to show immediately. Excuse me. Let me know what you guys want to see from Coulson Lovelin early on here in camp. Let's move on to Luther Burton here. For me with Luther Burton, listen, he's got speed. He's got the ability to be a dominant yak player as well. Again, going back to that explosive play there, for me with Luther Burton, it's about the hands, because you know who else has that? Olamide Zaccheaus. And if you're going to win out this job, I don't think that you can be a guy who has drops here. Now, I'm not saying he had a ton of drops in college. I think the production falling off has more to do with kind of what we saw last season in Mizzou, with other players coming in and the offense changing and the quarterback being banged up and not having the same relationship. Stuff like that goes into that, right? But to me with Luther Burton, if he comes out and he shows the hands immediately, this is his job to win. Like, we know that they want to give the job to their young second-round pick so that, you know, having Olamide Zaccheaus is nice, but you would probably rather have Luther Burton in there, who you drafted, because you feel better about getting the young guy out there and playing as soon as possible. But it's not just going to be a job that's gifted to you. To me, I think that's where the hands can really separate Luther Burton. Bringing that football in just opens up his game to being able to do all the things that we expect to see and all the things that we fully believe that he can do. He is that DJ Moore kind of wide receiver where he's a little bit of a bowling ball out there. And what I mean by that is, you know, The speed is obviously something that's an asset as well, but he's incredibly hard to bring down. He is a wide receiver that kind of turns into a running back when you put the ball in his hands. That's something that Olamide Zaccheaus can't do, but you can't do any of that other stuff without bringing the ball in. So hands is really what I'm looking for Luther Burton here. He showed some really good hands in the little bit we saw him at rookie minicamp as well. So it's not like he doesn't have them, but you got to see it when the pads are on. Shamar Turner is the next selection for the Chicago Bears here. By the way, hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Let me know your thoughts. What do you want to see Luther Burton do early on here at camp? We haven't seen a ton of Luther Burton, so it could be anything at this point. For me with Shamar Turner, quick first step. Got to have a quick first step. I think going from a two-gap system to a penetrating style system is going to make a massive difference for Shamar Turner. I think that's the one thing that you really, if you want to hang your hat on anything that he can do, that is the thing for me. I feel like he just never fit the offense that he was in when he was in college, and that kind of had him thinking a little bit, not just having him on go. But every time you saw him on go, he was ready to get to the quarterback, ready to make an impact, ready to be in the backfield, and got there. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I think can really set you apart, especially if you're out there next to Javon Dexter, who is taking up a little bit more space and who is kind of getting back to that quick first step and that penetrating style as well. But having those two together, I think it'd be a real problem for offensive lines, because if both men are able to beat you off of their first step, that's going to be big. I want to see him work in that rotation. I don't know if he's going to win a starting job just because of the politics of bringing in Grady Jarrett and stuff like that. But by the end of the season, could I see Shamar Turner as the main focal point on this team and Grady Jarrett coming in? Like I said, can you be 100% of the time, 40% of the time? I do think that that's something where if you see that quick first step early on and he starts to win some of those reps and starts to win some of those matchups, you feel good about where Shamar is going to be at by the time we get the midway point of the season. Ozzy Trapillo next on the list here. Ozzy's the easy one for me. And I think Ben Johnson said it best. The thing that he's judging these offensive linemen on, the thing that he's judging this left tackle competition on, is one thing and one thing only. Can you win the pass block game? When he said it, I said, that feels like a shot at Braxton Jones, because that's where Braxton has struggled the most. I think Braxton's better in the run block game than he is in the pass block game. At first, I thought that might give him a little bit of a leg up, but Ben Johnson said, nah, man, you got to win this pass block game. And that's where Ozzy Trapillo has succeeded very well on the right side of the football. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that on the left side of the football just yet. It's not a shot at him. We just haven't seen him out there in pads, right? Pads are very different than just going out there in T-shirt and shorts and being able to win your matchup. Now, the fact that you are able to win your matchup in T-shirt and shorts, also impressive, because there's nothing for you to push off of. And can we see that continue? But for me, Ozzy Trapillo, you got to win that pass block matchup. If he does that, I think this is his job for the taking. He's the only guy on this team who's not only just a Ryan or a Ben Johnson guy, but also a Ryan Poles guy. Karan Amagaji is a Ryan Poles guy. Braxton Jones is a Ryan Poles guy. Both of those guys are Matt Eberflus guys. To me, Ben Johnson coming in here, the fact that both of them are in on Ozzy Trapillo, I think that does make a big difference for going about and actually having a little bit of a leg up in the competition. But you still got to play. You still got to win. And if Karan Amagaji is the one that's out there and winning, go win. You know what I mean? Like the left tackle one for me, I want to see Ozzy out there. It would look like a bad pick if your second round pick is not out there. I don't care if my quarterback is protected. I just don't. I don't care if my quarterback, if Caleb Williams is upright and he's not getting blasted from the left side, like I don't care. That was almost bad. Leave it alone. Let me know what you guys want to see from Shamar Turner and Ozzy Trapillo. Those were our second round picks that just signed. We got a bunch of videos on the channel about those as well. Now we're into the fourth round here. Ruben Hippoly. For me with Ruben Hippoly, I want to see you be comfortable in coverage. That's the one question mark that I have on Ruben Hippoly, and I think it's the biggest thing now. Him being that third linebacker in this defense, right? I don't think there's going to be a ton of usage for him early on. I think he is somebody that you want to have on the field. If you took him in the fourth round, especially over some of the players you took him over, you could have gotten the running back at that spot, but you wanted to go Ruben Hippolyte there because of the speed and the ability to be out there and help in the run, which I do think is going to be something that the Bears are going to need some usage in. I think Ruben Hippolyte could be a player who maybe answers that question of, well, how do the Bears get better in the run? That's the one thing that he was really good at in college, using that speed to get into the backfield, read the field really well, got in that backfield. The problem for me with Ruben is the coverage it didn't look good in college. In fact, fact, it looked at times pretty bad, but some people would attribute that to how he was utilized in college. I think maybe he won't be utilized in that same way here in Dennis Allen's offense, and that's kind of what he's excited about. So the coverage for me is the biggest thing with him, but outside of that, I think that Ruben Hippoly is going to be a massive help for this Bears team in the run game, and that's really where I think you're going to see the most impact. Zay Frazier, next up on the list. Use that length to win PBUs. That's the one thing for me, because it's going to be tough. If you're a wide receiver or a DB on this team, even a tight end, you're sitting there looking at this going, this may not work out. There's just too many names on this team already. When you get outside of the Tyreek Stevensons and the Jalen Johnsons, right? Then you get into your Terrell Smiths. Now you like you're still pretty set at this DB spot here. And you got to find a way to win. To me, the length could be the biggest difference for Zay Frazier. I think he has the ability pretty well to stay in front of guys, and he has the size to go out there and be an interception threat. But those are things that can come for me later. Are you getting beat? And then when you get beat, can you use that length to get back into a play and get a PBU? If the ball's not getting in a wide receiver's hands, that's the biggest thing for me. That's why I love Jalen Johnson. That's why I regard Jalen Johnson as high as I do as far as DBs in the NFL. I thought he was way too low on the DB list. I think he's a top 3 DB at a minimum in the NFL. He's the best pass breakup DB in the NFL. They don't even throw to his side, and that causes some of the numbers to look a little bit different. To me, I want to see that for Zay Frazier. Not to say you got to be the best, but are you using that length on a consistent basis to be able to knock the ball away and make sure that the receiver doesn't get it in his hands? If the interceptions come, the interceptions come. I would love to see that as well. I think that's something that you can hang your hat on as well. But to me, it's all about getting those pass breakups for him. Luke Newman, we're down to the 6th round here. Luke Newman was selected for the Chicago Bears. He talked about this when we interviewed him up at Hallis Hall. I think this is the biggest thing for him, and because there's not a starting spot for you on this offensive line, unfortunately. There just isn't. Okay, that's fine. Offensive linemen get hurt. Comfort across the line is going to be one thing, but I need to see comfort at center. Center is one of the most important positions on the field. Don't we know that already, Bears fans? One of the most important positions on the field. And if we're being 100% honest about this, it's one of the positions that even with Drew Dahlman in here, I feel much better about having Drew Dahlman in here. I feel much better about having Drew Dahlman in here. But even with Drew Dahlman in the building, you still go, all right, but what if he gets banged up? What do we see then? That's where I feel like Luke Newman, and he talked about this. He said he feels most comfortable at center. That's the position he wants to grow at the most. And I think that's something that for me, if he can get comfortable at center and being that backup center right now, that opens up a ton of opportunity for you in the future. That opens up a ton of opportunity for you for other teams if you should go there. But even here on the Bears, just having that stability with the backup coming in and be able to make plays, like those are things that you really love, the fact that if you can get that out of and hang your hat on that, being able to be a starting caliber center in those backup moments. I mean, look what it did for the stock of Ryan Bates when he was able to step in some spot starts and play center, play guard, and just be able to come in and start. Again, I want to see him be comfortable in all positions, right? Kind of across that interior. But the center position is the one that he focused in on, and I think it's the one that if I could have any position be set as a backup, give me center. Like that's a no-brainer there. And then finish it off with Kyle Monangai. This one, y'all know how I feel about Kyle Monangai. I'm a big Monangai out here. I think that he's a under talked about player for what he did in the Big Ten, or underrated, I guess is the right way to say it, for what he did in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten. In the Big Ten. We act like this dude was doing it in a Joe Schmo league out of nowhere, 1,200 yards rushing the football. The running game, I think, is one where I kind of know what to expect, and I actually almost feel like this kid's going to be on the field. This kid's going to be utilized. This kid's going to be, to me, I think he's one of the best pass blockers that we probably have on the team outside of Roschon Johnson from that running back position, although Travis Homer may have something to say about that. I'm not going to lie. Travis Homer's a really good pass blocker as well, so he may have something to say about that. But listen, with all that being said, it comes down to this. Can you catch the football out of the backfield? That's the one thing that right now DeAndre Swift has a leg up on everybody, on Roschon Johnson, on Travis Homer, on everybody. DeAndre Swift can catch the football when it's thrown to him out of the backfield, and I think that Ben Johnson's going to put him in a lot more favorable situations this year than maybe what we saw last season. Here's the bottom line, though. if Kyle Monangai can catch that football out of the backfield, you're now talking about a guy who coming into the NFL as a 1,200-yard rusher. You know he can run the football. This offensive line is going to create holes for the running game this season, and you're going to start to move that forward. If they can find a way to get the young guy in there, get the young guy involved, focus on the younger player, the best two backs, right? Like if you're one of those best two backs, you're going to get utilized. I think the Bears have a want to get Roschon Johnson involved in this thing as well. Not to say they want to move on from DeAndre Swift, but it does open up financially and change the conversation drastically if you're able to move on from DeAndre Swift. And so for me, if he can catch that football out of the backfield, man, listen, don't be surprised if Kyle Monangai is winning this job coming out of camp. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't know if that's going to happen. DeAndre Swift is a heck of a competitor, and he's going to go out there, and he's not just going to give up his starting job easily. Right now, he is the starting. He is the number one running back. But I think Kyle Monangai, if he can catch this football out of the backfield efficiently, he's going to have a case for it. But, hey, I want to know how you guys feel in the comments below. Rookies reporting to camp today. Love to see it. Very excited to see what this rookie class is going to do this season, and can't wait for everybody else to report to camp. I'll be up there on the 22nd because we will be talking to Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson as camp is getting started and people start reporting, and then we're in full go, baby. Training camp is here, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to get this thing cracking. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.